Hello and welcome to a brand new installment of Nintendo News Report for Thursday, March 23rd, 2017. As always, I am your host, Alexander Emmanuel Kulafi, joined today by my co-host, as always, that is Canada's very own Donald Terrio. Hello, Canada's very own Donald Terrio.
One of these days I'll reveal my middle name on this show as well, but tonight's not the night. We don't have time.
Are you one of those people who does have a middle name?
I do, and it might sound familiar.
Is it Jay?
You've already mentioned it.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Cool. So, we have a very good show today. We're talking about Switch more because there's not much news going on at all. And because a new platform just launched, the only things that we really have to talk about are things that have happened since the launch of the Switch. We really only have about 2 news stories today, but because new stuff came out for ARMS, because new stuff came out of Japan, because new stuff came out, even Fire Emblem Echoes, we're gonna do some musing, some spieling, as it were. But first, Donald, I made a plea last week, and the week or two before, for us to get some new iTunes reviews. Nintendo News Report on iTunes. And we have gotten 2 more reviews since last week's show. I'm going to read all 3. We have 3. We need 5 ratings in order to get a rating on iTunes, which is going to make me feel really nice. Understand that's the only reason why we do any of this is for me specifically to feel nice. But I would love to see what you guys think, and I would love to see what you guys think in the iTunes format. So Nintendo News Report on iTunes. Here's what some people are saying. 4 stars, Near Perfect Podcast by Wesley Flint, December 31st, 2016. Listen to you guys on my way to and from work. Great content. We got a legit 4 stars by Phil Harmonic, March 18th, 2017. He says, these guys are real and honest Nintendo fans. No fanboys here, just journalists with passion. Quirky, knowledgeable, and always entertaining. It is surprising that this isn't their day job. The, in all caps, authoritative source of Nintendo news. That's very sweet of you, Mr. Phil Harmonic. Thank you very much, and thank you to Mr. Wesley Flint. I will say, Donald, and you might agree with me, that what is good about our show, for whatever else anyone can ever say about our show, I think we're really good at not drinking any Kool-Aid. We love Nintendo, but we don't love Nintendo to the point that it distracts from valid criticism.
Yeah, if Nintendo is going to make a mistake, we're here to call them out on it.
And we need someone on the inside. That's my general philosophy as a Nintendo fan, and what I've always tried to do at Nintendo World Report is I really love Nintendo. So I think Nintendo fans need people who are journalists, who are good at calling out what Nintendo does right and what Nintendo does wrong. A lot of times, you have people who are too harsh on Nintendo and to a relatively unfair extent, and then people who are just eating up whatever Nintendo delivers while ignoring some relatively important flaws or valid things to criticize that Nintendo does. We try to be right in the middle. We try to be loving, but we try to be critical in the way that I hope the world deserves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our third review is a 5-star review from Mr. J Tinch 94. Presumably he was born the same year I was. Great show from true Nintendo fans, entertaining and informing. Thank you very much. 2 more reviews. It does not matter what you rate our podcast. I like to see positive reviews, but if you review it, I just want you to give it an honest review. Whatever you review it, I will read it on this show. Now, you might say, Alex, are you just reading these reviews on the show so we'll review your podcast and then you'll read the review that I write on the show so I can get my iTunes handle or whatever kind of handle on the show? Yes, that is exactly what I'm doing. That is an open plea for reviews, and hopefully if I'm reading the reviews on the show, you guys may be slightly more inclined to review us on iTunes.
and that gets us more promotion, which gets more people listening to the show, which gets more people reviewing, and it's a perfect cycle in that way.
So yes, one actual benefit to you reviewing us is that we will be more apparent on the iTunes store, and we will be more visible, and more people will listen to us, and more people will care, and that will make us feel good, and that will give us a bigger audience to play for, which will hopefully make for a better show. In my imagination, it means for a better show, but we shall see, Donald. Okay. We got some stuff today. We got some Joy-Con stuff. One thing I just remembered is that Mario Sports Superstars comes out tomorrow on the Nintendo 3DS. Isn't that right, Donald?
It does. We had a review of based on the European version a couple of weeks ago from friend of the show, Don Koopman. He found it rather wanting in some areas. It's still 5.5, still above average game.
Still great.
But the buyer should beware on that one. Be sure to read Don's review so you get what you're getting into.
Yeah. Yes, I'm looking forward to this video game, Donald, and I talked to Dan personally about this. I've read Don's review. I've heard the feedback. And I still need this game. Because what it sounds like is it's perfectly serviceable versions of all 5 of these sports, right? It's just the content doesn't necessarily feel that inspired. The tennis and the golf don't necessarily do anything that the other 3DS games didn't do, etc., etc. My argument against that is that after playing almost 45 hours of Zelda and 20 hours of Nier Automata, a game I don't like despite having one of the most impressive stories I've seen in a very long time, which is the reason why I'm still playing Automata, I need a palate cleanser before Persona 5, a game that will ultimately prove to be probably a 50 to 100 hour experience, all things said and done. I need something light and fluffy in between. Mario Sports Superstars is going to be my saving grace for a couple weeks.
Yeah, if with money still being a little bit loose, although I think my tax return will be in a couple of weeks, so that'll free something up. But I'm sort of passing on it for now. I'll keep it to mind in case it comes around once the tax return hits. But honestly, for my palate cleanser, I'm probably going to go for Neo Turf Masters, which came out on Switch eShop this week, just because that is a damn fun golf game.
Is it really that good?
I think it's the best golf game on a console that's not like a Mario Golf style game.
That's a very interesting qualification. Is there a better golf game on PC you can think of?
I put an unusually large amount of time for someone who doesn't care about golf into the Lynx series, the old Microsoft Lynx series on PC, but that was back in the mid '90s. I'm not even sure if they still make those anymore. I don't think they do, because I think they just end up with, if at best you get a port of Rory McIlroy or the Golf Club, which admittedly I haven't played. But
have you played Hot Shots Golf on the PlayStation Vita?
I have, but I got it right after I got Mario Golf on 3DS.
I actually think World Invitational stacks up very well against Mario Golf. If anything, I think Hot Shots Golf might be the better simulation of golf.
Yeah, well, I mean, Mario Golf's not a simulation. It's an arcade game that just happens to have golf as a backdrop.
You think
hitting it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think Mario Golf is probably Mario Golf might be a bit more fun, plays a little bit fast and loose with what golf is. I can see Hot Shots as a simulation. Something I never really got into, and I don't know. Neo Turf Master is just it's one of those random games that I put a lot of time into.
As someone who's only played 3D golf games, would it be impossible for me to get into Neo Turf Masters?
No, it's an arcade game essentially. So it's very, very simple to control, and there's enough golfers in there. You can probably find something that would suit your play style.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to this Joy-Con thing. Tell me about Joy-Cons.
Okay, so before launch and even after launch, there was a lot of reports of Joy-Cons losing connection with the console when you're about more than 10 feet, 5 meters or so away from the console. And Nintendo originally was saying it's not a problem. They came out this week, and in a statement to Kotaku, they said basically it was a problem at one factory. We have fixed the problem, and if you're still having the issues, let us know. We'll do some troubleshooting, and then we'll swap it out if necessary. So I know several people that have taken advantage of that already. The term I think Nintendo used in their statement to Kotaku was that it was a, quote, manufacturing variation, wherein you're seeing, like, if Nintendo had 4 factories that did the Joy-Cons, the first one up maybe didn't put as much, they put too much shielding in for the wireless signal, which seems to be the root cause of the interference. Is somebody from The Verge actually sent their Joy-Con in for repair, and they got it back with some extra conducting foam in the corner of the Joy-Con that boosted the wireless signal and made it stronger.
Okay. Have you had a problem with your Joy-Con yet, Donald?
I haven't, but I'm also not in, my environment is such that I only have about a 32-inch TV. So the ideal viewing distance for me on that is about 5 feet from between the Switch and where I'm sitting. So it hasn't really been an issue for me yet. I actually thought about getting somebody over who wears like jewelry, like hand jewelry, like rings or bracelets, to see if that would have an effect, but haven't had a chance to do that as of yet.
We're getting some word in the chat. Kingler, Chariot Goblin, Axel Felix are all claiming that the video stopped. It's repeating? It's a Google Stream thing? Donald, do we have any troubleshooting options?
Let me see here. Sorry, folks, we are live. If you can hear us.
Yeah.
So I see we're down to about. See, we dropped into the single digits.
We're doing our best to troubleshoot. If it doesn't work, fingers crossed that the podcast version goes better. Donald, is this the kind of thing that you could leave and then go back, or will this thing archive forever and there's no way to continue it?
We'd probably have to set up a second. I'd have to redo a stream for it.
What do you think? Do you think we should try for a second stream, or do you think we just keep going and pray?
Yeah, at the rate we're going here, probably. I think a second. I think I'll whip up a second one now. I've got the page open.
Okay.
So just stop broadcast.
We're opening up a second stream. Pay attention to YouTube. Sorry, guys. Fingers crossed. This next one goes better. Okay. I guess we gotta stop, don't we?
Yeah.